All right, in the next part of the lesson, we are going to be finding the rational zeros. So what that means is we are finding real solutions that can be written as fractions or they're already whole numbers. All right, so again, we're just going to start off the same way. We're going to figure out the factors of the constant, the factors of the leading coefficient, and then we're going to make our list of possible answers. And then from there, we're going to find any of our actual answers, actual rational answers, I should say. So our constant is 1, so that's going to be plus and minus 1. The leading coefficient is 2, so the numbers that multiply to be 2 are 1 and 2. And then to get our list of possibilities, it's the factors of the constant divided by the leading coefficient. So 1 divided by 1 is 1. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. And then now to find the rational zeros, we're going to use our graphing calculator. Okay. We're going to go to the y equals. If we have something there, we're going to clear it. And then we are going to type in this equation. So 2x cubed plus x squared plus 1. And then we're going to graph in a standard window, so zoom 6. And then we are looking for the places that it's crossing the x-axis. And we're going to test these numbers. So if we want, we could test all of them until we find the right one. Okay, so to test, we just press trace, and then we type the number that we want. So if I test positive 1, so it'd be 1, enter. We want our y value to be 0. So remember, if this is 0, that means that the remainder is 0, so that this number is a factor. So if we have something else, if we do have a remainder, then it's not a factor. So I can even test fractions. So if I just type again trace, and then I'm going to press the 1 key, the divide key, the 2 key, and then enter. So again, we still did not get 0 here, so that's what we're looking for. So now we can test our negative numbers. So if we test negative 1/2 this time, so again, we're going to press the negative key at the bottom of the calculator. Make sure you're not pressing the minus key. Okay, so negative 1 divided by 2 for the negative 1/2. So again, we did not get 0. So the last number that we can try is negative 1. So negative 1, enter. So here we got 0. So that means that negative 1 is a rational answer to this problem. And if we were to solve, we know that we have 3 total answers. One of them is real and rational. And when I'm looking at this, because there's no other places that our graph is crossing, the other 2 answers have to be imaginary. So there's other steps that we would need to take to finish solving the problem. Okay, but again, our directions are only telling us to find the rational zeros. So this is our only answer for this problem. So problem 4, we're going to do the same thing. So we need the factors of the constant, the factors of the leading coefficient. We're going to come up with our list of possible answers, and then we're going to find any of the actual rational zeros using our calculator. Okay. So again, our constant is 5, so all the numbers that multiply to be 5 are 1 and 5. And then our leading coefficient is 4, so we would have 1 times 4, and then 2 times itself. So our list of possibilities, 1 divided by 1 is 1, 5 divided by 1 is 5, 1 divided by 2 is 1/2, 1 divided by 4 is 1/4, and then we still need to do 5 divided by 2 and 5 divided by 4. Okay, so now we're typing this equation into the y equals spot. Okay, so y equals, clear what's there, 4x cubed plus 9x squared plus 22x plus 5. And then zoom 6 to graph it in a standard window. All right, so looking at this, it's crossing on the negative side. So I'm going to adjust my window to zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to change my window to be -5 to 5 for both the x and the y. Okay, so it's crossing between 0 and -1. So really, if we use common sense this time, I don't need to test any of the positive numbers because our graph isn't crossing on that side. So I need to test negative numbers between 0 and 1. So that means that I'm going to test these fractions. So let's just start with negative 1/2. So we'll go in order. So negative 1 divided by 2. Oops, sorry, I forgot to press trace. So trace, negative 1 divided by 2, enter. Okay, we didn't get 0, so that's not 1. So now I'm going to try 1/4, and we want to do the negative 1. So trace, negative 1 divided by 4, enter. Right, so we found that one. So our answer is negative 1/4. And because we found it and our graph isn't crossing anywhere else, we don't need to test any of the other numbers. So negative 1/4 would be our only rational answer for this problem. All right, in the next video, we're going to talk about how to find all of the answers.